Hello there guys, welcome to Survive Russia. We are on the way up to the Frontiers camp. We are on the way up to do some work today. Hopefully a lot of work, we'll see. But we are at the location where I made this little fire tip video, where I showed how to make fire on birch tree. In this video I had a few comments on how dangerous this was, and it would climb up the tree, and the kids in the UK. For the ones of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, just stay tuned. You'll find out in a very short second. So here we have a nice birch. Birches are nice, spruce nice, pines nice. Generally trees are awesome. Here we have another little piece of birch. We fluff up the birch there. Take our little ferro rod. I don't like that. We light our birch bark here and blow it out. So this method I use when it's wet, because it also works in the wet, and I use it especially on very deep snow, because then it's not, many times it's not really awesome to make the fire on the ground, blah 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 blah. Let's see what happens if we just let it burn. So you can see I fluffed up some more birch there, and I fluffed up a lot more than I would usually fluff up. It of course went out. The fire of course extinguished itself, because there's nothing it really can burn on. And yeah, this is not gonna hurt the tree whatsoever. I would of course not do it on a birch like this, or on a bigger birch like that. But if that's all you have, it's not really difficult to just remove this stuff here. Make your little flame here, blow it out. It's not gonna burn the forest down, guys. Alright guys, so an hour later here, we are set. I put up a little shelter. We're not expecting any rain. We should actually not have any rain for the next 3 days, but you know, we have this funky wind and puffy clouds, so I don't know. But one thing I do know is that the best way to avoid rain is to prepare for rain. So I've done that. This is the Russian one-man shelter tent multifunctional thingy. It's not that wide in this configuration anyway, but it's wide enough for me to be able to sit in there, and it can cover the backpack on the crawler and tra-la-la-la-la. Everything is just set with the good old Prusik and toggle style of a thingy. So I don't know what's the best thing to do now. It's most likely to get a cup of tea and find out what I'm gonna do today first, because I have 2 or 3 different projects in mind. We're gonna make a special cup of tea today. Add a little bit of ordinary black tea, not too much. Then we're gonna take this balsam fir. Balsamica, Siberia, whatever. You've seen this in the other video, of course. We're gonna chop a little bit of that stuff and add to the water, and the water should not be too warm, I have been told. And it just has to steep there for, I don't know, 10-15 minutes or something. This is in many ways really awesome. It smells so great and tastes great too. But I made up my mind what we're gonna do now, after we have been drinking our tea, and maybe we have a little bite to eat as well, because I also have some food with me. I have all sorts of stuff with me because I have a mini crawler. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna have something to eat, drink a bit of tea. Should be done by now. Wow, it's hot, but not too hot. And then we're gonna move on with the project of this video here, and the project's gonna be the project's gonna be, that's what I wanted to say, the project's gonna be a Russian pioneer, the Russian frontiersman's campsite cooking stand. Most likely that's the title of the video, I don't know. So it might not come as a huge surprise, but that's what we're gonna do. And that's an awesome setup. It's not anything super revolutionary, but it's awesome. So the cooking stand I want to make is of course from this series of pictures I have in black and white from the early 1900s from some of the Russian pioneers, long hunters, whatever we want to call them, frontiersmen. And there are two variants of it. There's like a camp style variant of it, and then there's a more stationary variant. But both include two uprights, just like we've seen in many cooking stands, two uprights with a log across, but this is not two uprights with a log across. It's a little bit different. So I've chosen these two birch branches for the uprights, because as you remember, most likely, we were clearing trail up here, and there's a dead birch that fell across the trail over there. So the branches is from that tree, so they're already dead and relatively dry, but they're good condition. So let's get on with it. So I want to make the ends here a little bit pointy. By the way, the tiger axe here is awesome and is holding up very well. Some of you might remember we have this funky 5-wedge system there. It seems to be super sturdy. But I will make these two a little bit pointy and get back to you guys. So we have one upright over there. I just put up off cam. The other one we're gonna put up over here somewhere. I think this is a good distance. And I'm gonna pre-drill with this little guy here. That is mostly because I do not want to damage the ends of the birch there more than I absolutely have to. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna cut a little bit in on either side here. Not too much. We have a little bit of a smoke going on here. And then I'm gonna split it down with the axe, just so we create a little bit of a flat spot on this side and on the other side. How does this look? It's fine. One cross member here. And another one over here. So we have a nice big gap between these two guys here. Now we have got, of course, have to clamp them in either end It's gonna be pretty tight. So I'm gonna use steel wire from my little steel wire nail kit. Alright, so I've been using a little bit of a steel wire to hold them together because I'm only me. And you can also see that I have flattened this guy out in here. This is because I'm not using pine or spruce. And the guy in the picture obviously have used pine or spruce, which is of course super straight. I don't have that here, not for this little guy here anyway. But I collected some for the bigger variant. But I'm gonna loop some steel wire over here. I'll take the end here that I started with and also twist it around a little bit. And I will squeeze these two ends here together in the middle, hopefully. I'm not gonna make it too tight for now. Alright guys, so our uprights are in place and they're sitting pretty well. I'm not sure I want to balance put all my weight on it, but a good portion anyway. Yeah. They're not going anywhere. We're of course not done yet. Now we have to make the pot hangers. And they're pretty cool. I say pot hangers because on all the pictures I've seen, there have always been 2 or 3 at least of these funky pot hangers here. So I'll put some, just a few cuts across here. It's a good little carpenter's trick. Not that I'm a carpenter, but I've been working with a lot of carpenters, so yeah, this is something I learned. By carpenter's trick, I of course mean these small notches here, but I'll flatten this guy out and we'll get on with it. Alright guys, so I made a few of these, actually made 3, but here are 2 of them. They're in different lengths, because as far as I could see from the pictures, there were like 2 or 3 of these guys in different lengths, most likely according to a teapot and another pot and tralalulai. But what we're gonna do now is, of course, we're gonna have to drill some holes in both of these, and we're gonna use, first of all, we're gonna try out this little guy here from the Victorinox Trailmaster, and then we're gonna try out the SRK here, the Sanmai 3. I also have the little Mora Original 1 with me, so we might try that out as well. But yeah, we're gonna drill some holes, see how it goes with the tools we have at hand here. I think we start to make one here. See how it goes. Some point we should be able to see it on the other side and then work from the other side. I'm sure that the old frontiersmen would have had a similar tool. Maybe not exactly a Victorinox, but they definitely had an awl or auger or what it is these guys here are called in English. We are through here, so I can now work from the other side. So sitting and working with this little Victorinox tool here, I would like to give a shout out to a channel. I think it's a Swiss channel. It's anyway a very nice guy who's called Felix Imler. I think he's from Switzerland. Maybe he's from Austria, but I think he's from Switzerland. And I actually think that he works at Victorinox, by the way. He made an awesome video where he was making a pair of skis only with a Victorinox knife. He's a pretty cool guy, Felix, and his channel is in English, so check him up here and in the description. So we are through with this guy as well. See you with the Sanmai 3. Alright, so let's try and make a hole here with the SRK, the Sanmai 3, and let's try another hole with the little Mora Original 1. Because the Mora Original 1 is actually an awesome knife, and it's much different from the modern Moras. When I make holes, for example for making traps and stuff like that, I always start like this here to cut the fibers. So you can say I actually make a square But anyway, I have found out is much the easiest way to do it. We're already through here. Awesome. You can see through it. We have an eye. So the Zenmai 3, it actually does this pretty well. Let's say the holders here is not that pretty. Let's make another one down here. See how the Mora does. It actually does a little better, I can tell you, because I think we're already through. Yeah, I can see the point here. Also not the prettiest, but it's there, it works, awesome. So here's the cooking stand, 3 different holders. Of course, for 3 different cooking devices or cooking utensils. Of course, the holes here makes us able to regulate how much heat is gonna be under this mess kit, for example. Blah blah blah. That is pretty logic. But I think it's pretty awesome that you can have a small cooking fire going here, embers even, and we can cook on 3 different devices. And whenever some meal is ready, we can just slide it out here and have a little bit of a fire in here, or some embers in here, and the meal or the tea or whatever it is will just stay warm. We can of course also have another pot hanging over here, so we have our food here, we have our tea here, we have a little bit of embers here, and we have a main fire going somewhere else. I think it's a pretty neat system. The more stationary system that I'm gonna make for the shelter over there, that is really awesome. It's basically the same, but it's made in a completely different way, which is pretty cool. Also, I learned something, actually, I think I learned something anyway from making this, because I was thinking, while I was straightening out these boards here, of course, it doesn't take a long time, but it takes time, right? And I was thinking, why do they do it like this, and And then I was thinking, yeah, but maybe they were just not in a hurry, like we are. I mean, today when we talk about survival, bushcrafting, outdoorsmanship, it's always like, yeah, I can make this in 5 minutes, we can make this in 2.5 minutes. Maybe these guys back then, they didn't care if it took 20 minutes or 45 minutes. As long as it was something worth doing and worked well, right? So that anyway, what I think that I learned from making this little device here. It's pretty interesting to make these things here, actually. So guys, I hope you liked the little video here. I don't know how short it is, maybe it's a little bit long, I don't know. But I hope you liked the video, I hope you liked the cooking stand. I also hope that you would check the links in the description, and please consider supporting the channel, and share and subscribe, and And until next time, get out of train, get it done, do something awesome, and see you in the next video, guys. Thank you for your time.